13 years old, was Clare Morrison when she left home and never returned. By the next morning, she was found near the ocean at Bells Beach. What happened in the hours between remains unclear, and the silence around that night still lingers. Clare Morrison was 13 years old and lived on Thompson Street in the Geelong suburb of Norine with her mother, Vera Morrison, and her two brothers. She was a student whose life moved between school, home, and the small social circles typical of teenagers in the area. Her family described Clare as bubbly, popular, and well-liked. She was known as a trusting young girl who believed the best in people. As Clare entered her teenage years, subtle changes appeared. Like many adolescents, she began spending more time away from home and more time with friends. Her independence grew gradually, bringing moments of mild rebellion that her family did not consider unusual. Clare's social world expanded beyond school friends into wider peer groups, reflecting a normal desire for freedom at her age. One memory remained vivid for her younger brother, Andrew Morrison. He later recalled seeing Clare sitting on the back step of their home one night, smoking cigarettes. At the time, it seemed like a small and ordinary act of teenage defiance. Andrew was only 11 years old and gave the moment little thought. He did not know this would become the final time he ever saw his sister alive. Within the Morrison household, Clare's presence was familiar and routine. There were no signs she anticipated danger. This remains the final picture of Clare Morrison before her disappearance occurred. On the afternoon of December 18, 1992, 13-year-old Clare Morrison contacted her mother by telephone. She explained that she was with friends and said she expected to return home at around 11 o'clock that night. Later the same evening, Clare also spoke with one of her closest friends, Kim. During that conversation, Clare said she was at Geelong Mall and planned to take the bus home to collect some money for last-minute Christmas shopping. Clare and Kim made plans to meet at the McDonald's fast food restaurant on Mirabel Street. That meeting never took place, and Kim never saw Clare again. Some witness reports later suggested that Clare appeared slightly intoxicated that night, though these accounts were never confirmed by authorities. As the night continued, Clare did not return home as she had told her mother she would. Concern gradually began to grow, though no immediate explanation was available. One account later emerged claiming that Clare had been seen hitchhiking along Ryrie Street in Geelong at approximately 12:30 in the morning. This sighting was never verified and could not be confirmed by investigators. These details represent the last known contacts and reported movements of Clare Morrison. After these moments, her whereabouts became unknown, leaving only unconfirmed sightings and unanswered questions surrounding her final hours during the late-night period leading into the early morning hours there. When Clare Morrison failed to return home on the night of December 18, 1992, concern quickly grew within her family. She had told her mother she would be home by 11 o'clock, and as the hours passed, it became clear something was wrong. Clare's absence was unusual enough that her family could not dismiss it as a simple delay or change of plans. By the early hours of the morning, Clare was officially reported missing. At that stage, there were no confirmed sightings that could explain where she had gone after leaving Geelong Mall. Information available to police was limited and largely based on second-hand accounts. The alleged sighting of Clare hitchhiking along Ryrie Street at around 12:30 a.m. remained unverified and could not be supported by evidence. Investigators were left with uncertainty rather than direction. There were no witnesses who could confirm Clare's movements after her final phone conversations, and no clear timeline could be established beyond speculation. For her family, the waiting period was marked by fear and confusion as they struggled with the absence of answers. This early stage of the case was defined by unanswered questions and a lack of concrete leads. With no reliable information to guide the search, Clare Morrison's disappearance remained unexplained as the night turned into morning, without certainty, direction, or clarity for investigators or family members involved present. At approximately 7:30 a.m. on the morning of December 19, 1992, the body of 13-year-old Clare Morrison was discovered near Bells Beach in Victoria. Two surfers made the discovery, finding her lying face down near a set of steps about 10 meters from the water's edge. The location was approximately 37 kilometers south of Clare's home. Clare was partially clothed when she was found. She was wearing only a pair of maroon-colored jeans and Rossi brand work boots. Her position and condition immediately raised questions for investigators attending the scene. Despite this, Victoria Police initially believed there were no suspicious circumstances surrounding her death. Within days, that assessment changed. Examination of Clare's body revealed bruising and signs of severe physical assault to her head and neck. It was determined that she had been strangled prior to her death. Further complications emerged when shark bites were found on her body, particularly on her arm. These injuries indicated that Clare had been in the water for a significant period of time, possibly since the night before. The presence of shark interference created serious challenges for investigators. Potential forensic evidence may have been contaminated or removed, limiting what could be conclusively established. Bells Beach was cordoned off as police began a thorough search of the surrounding area for any evidence that could explain how Clare Morrison came to be found there. The coroner later ruled that Clare Morrison's death was the result of foul play, though an exact cause of death could not be determined. Shark interference and exposure to the ocean had significantly compromised her remains, washing away or damaging potential forensic evidence. These conditions limited what investigators could conclusively establish through examination. A toxicology report was conducted, but its results were never released to the public. As a result, it remains unknown whether alcohol or drugs were present in Clare's system at the time of her death. Early reporting indicated there were no initial signs of sexual assault, although further testing was planned during the investigation. Bells Beach was sealed off as Victoria Police conducted a detailed examination of the scene. Officers searched the surrounding cliffs, shoreline, and access points for anything that might explain how Clare arrived there. Despite these efforts, environmental factors continued to obstruct progress. The combination of ocean exposure, shark activity, and time created lasting gaps in the available evidence. These investigative challenges would go on to shape the case, limiting definitive conclusions and contributing to its classification as an unsolved murder. Because of these limitations, investigators were unable to reconstruct a complete sequence of events leading to Clare's death, leaving crucial questions unanswered and preventing authorities from reaching firm conclusions based solely on physical evidence recovered from the scene at that time period documented. Initial investigations by Victoria Police led them to 18-year-old Shane McLaren, who claimed he had seen Clare Morrison on the night she disappeared. McLaren told police that he witnessed Clare getting into a dark blue VC model Holden Commodore with two unidentified male individuals. He provided detailed descriptions of the vehicle, including black stripes along both sides, a twin exhaust, and a V8 engine. He also described the driver in vivid detail. Based on McLaren's account, police created sketches of the vehicle and the alleged suspect, releasing them publicly in an effort to generate leads. Officers spent months searching for the blue Commodore, dedicating significant time and resources to locating the car and the people McLaren described. The investigation shifted when authorities discovered that McLaren's story had been entirely fabricated. His statements were proven false, and the lead collapsed. As a result, McLaren was arrested, charged, and later convicted of perjury. The false report caused investigators to lose valuable time and diverted attention away from other potential avenues of inquiry. McLaren was known to be a friend of Clare and had spent time with her in the weeks before her death. He was later arrested for murder on December 20, 1992, but was never charged due to a lack of evidence. He has continued to deny involvement and remains a suspect in the unsolved case today. In the years following Clare Morrison's death, the impact on her family and community remained profound. The case gradually faded from public attention, becoming a cold case despite its disturbing circumstances. Victoria Police announced a $50,000 reward for information leading to the identification and conviction of those responsible, but the reward has never increased. In 2017, Clare's brother, Andrew Morrison, spoke publicly about his sister's murder for the first time. He expressed frustration with the investigation and stated that police had not done enough to pursue new leads or re-interview key witnesses as information emerged over the years. Andrew revealed that he had been told Clare and her friends had gone to Point Addis on the night before her body was discovered. According to this account, Clare did not leave with them. What happened after that moment remains unknown. Andrew described his sister's death as a lifelong burden for their mother, Vera Morrison. Vera passed away on August 31, 2012, without ever knowing who killed her daughter or why. Andrew also spoke about his own emotional struggle, stating that the experience had been demoralizing and deeply distressing. Despite the passage of decades, Victoria Police continue to investigate new leads. The Morrison family and Clare's surviving friends continue to appeal for anyone with information to come forward. They believe some witnesses may have been too young or frightened at the time to speak. More than 30 years later, the case remains unresolved, and the call for answers continues.